Hey y'all, Joefer here, the cranky old gay guy. It is Friday in Portland. It is the 21st? So it's officially spring. And it has been raining like a son of a gun all morning. All morning, it's been nasty. This is gonna be a pretty droll video today, I think. Not a lot happening. I went to the gym. I just picked up some groceries, and now I am headed out to, I think it's Hong Fat Market. It's an Asian market, that way east, a few miles from my house, and I'm going to pick up some animal parts for rendering, because yes, I am still rendering collagen. I have been since summer. I'm still taking it every day, twice a day. Put it in the coffee or a tea. It doesn't taste like anything because I don't season it. I just put it in a slow cooker and let the collagen melt from the feet that I put in there. Because when I'm saying animal parts, I'm getting cow feet and chicken feet. Because both of them have a lot of ligaments. And that's where your collagen, I guess, resides, in flesh bodies. Oh boy, what a day, huh? Someone wrote and said that they were considering retiring to Portland, and I suggested that they come out in the winter and in the summer, because the summers are usually pretty nice. Just so they know, like today, it is a typical winter spring day. I mean, this starts in late October, early November, and it goes through most of spring. It's rainy, it's cold, it's not freezing, but it's cold. It's overcast, dark and gray. Sure, there will be a day or two where the sun might come out and it'll stop raining for a few hours, but those are few and far between. And the days when it doesn't rain, it's still usually overcast. So if you can handle that, great. But if you can't, you'll be like so many people that come to this state thinking, oh, I was there in the summer, it's beautiful, I want to live there. And then this happens, and for months and months they're thinking, what a mistake, how do I get out of here? And they're often tied in and they can't just leave. Let's see, what else do you want to talk about today? What's going on in the world? I don't know. I did notice that someone remodeled their office, painted their desk gold, and gold leafed or something every picture frame in the office. Brought in these, they're cute little cherub angels made of gold and stuck above the doorways. Oh, I don't remember who that was though. But for some reason, he was giving a tour of his office on television. Huh. I guess money is just not tight for some people, huh? Like, or this country, I guess. Since it's the country's money that's buying this. But that's neither here nor there. My car's fixed. I'm driving it. It turned out to be really, really bad spark plugs. I mean, burnt to hell spark plugs. Only one of them was actually firing consistently. I thought they were gonna replace the coils too, which are in this car, they're the wires that run from your spark plugs. But he said they were fine, they didn't need replacement. It still cost me, get this, for 4 spark plugs, $300 plus. Why? Well, because his time, that's all labor. There was the time to tear it apart, the time to put it together, the time for him to take a half-hour test drive to see what the problem was, and then take another drive after he had fixed it to see if there were any problems. And of course, he did come up with other things he wants to look at. And I said, but did you look at them? And he said, no. And I'm just thinking, well, you already think there's a problem and you didn't look at it while it was here? Well, no, because then he'd have to charge me. In reality, unless he tore something apart, he shouldn't have to charge me. He should be able to look at it and say, hey, that. But what he is suggesting is a squeak you hear when you push down the brake pedal, which has made that squeak noise for as long as I've had the car. It is a used car with 250 some miles. 254,334 miles. So it's had some use. He said that pushing on the brake, it's pushing a caliper, which goes down and pushes some fluid, which pushes a pressure plate, which pushes the brake shoe onto the front rotors, and that it shouldn't be squeaking. I'm not super concerned with it. My concern is the squeak that comes from the back when I step on the brakes. And when I took that into a tire shop, they said, oh, it's just, you have shoe brakes on the back and it's just brake dust. But it happens so often. I can't imagine that brake dust builds up that quickly in between trips. It doesn't happen as much in the summer unless there's a sudden rain shower. It's very weather dependent, I think. Okay, we are out in the 70s now on Sandy Boulevard. A lot of shops and businesses out here are closed up, which this was once a thriving place with businesses, but not so much anymore. I guess I get it. No one wants to go out and buy things now because it's easier to do it online, and it's usually cheaper because online they're not paying rent. When I say they, the people who are selling, let's say on Amazon, they do pay a fee to Amazon, a percentage of what they're selling, so they are paying rent. It's just not, $10,000 a month that they might pay out here. And that sounds like an exaggeration, and it probably is this far out. If you're down in the 30s, $10,000 a month for a 1,000-foot showroom is not to be unexpected. I don't know how restaurants do it. There was this little hole-in-the-wall restaurant on Alberta that was paying, it was in the paper, it was $15,000 a month in rent. And they were there for 2 or 3 years, but the rent when they left was $15,000 a month, and that's why they left, because they just weren't making it. Which I can understand that. That would be, you'd have to have a lot of business to pay that much just in rent. That doesn't cover any of your other expenses, your utilities, maintenance, your employees, your local taxes, none of that. We just passed 82nd, which at one time, again, was the major cruise road in Portland, where all the teens and high schools would come down and they would just cruise back and forth on 82nd Avenue from the north end to the south end every Friday and Saturday night. Why? To show off their cars, to show off their clothes, to try to meet people from the opposite sex. It was ridiculous. Growing up in the 70s, everybody did it. They were still doing it when I got out of college in the late 80s, but it had moved out to 122nd because the cops had really cracked down on the cruisers on 82nd. Businesses were complaining that people were in their lots at night, just chatting, maybe smoking pot. And people who live in that area complained because of the traffic. And again, I do get it. And then in the early 90s, it moved down to downtown Portland. So everyone went downtown Portland, and there was this circular 4-block area that they cruised around. And what is now Pioneer Square, actually it was before then, because Pioneer Square wasn't there yet. It was just it was. There was a block on 3rd that just had a cinder block wall around it. It was a parking lot. And it was the 90s because Suzanne and I went down there when we were out of school already, out of college, and she had never seen people of the night, people that are for sale, put it that way. And that's what you do. You go down and you would drive around and you would see everybody lined up on the wall who is looking for tricks. This is men and women. Some of them would be in odd clothing, some would be handcuffed together, some of them would have signs saying what they are willing to do. No one had prices, of course, because that would be illegal. But did they charge? Absolutely they charged. Is it a life that I would want? Absolutely not. It was very oh, what is the word I'm looking for? Sad that any of these people would be forced to do these things just to survive. But that was the 90s. You know, it was the whole grunge era starting, hard Nirvana, which I don't think Nirvana was really a thing then. I know that Courtney Love met the guy from Nirvana, Kurt Cobain, for the first time in a nightclub here in Portland. That's the story. And what was the nightclub? Oh, it was down on what is now the Bus Mall on 4th. That was called the Satyricon. It was this punk club I'd been to a few times, and it was never a friendly place for me, because a lot of times I hated the music, and the amp system was terrible. It was really, really loud, and a lot of bands didn't really play well. They just slammed on their instruments. There's a lesbian band that does that too, but that's another story. But I went down and I watched different bands play because friends wanted to go. And, you know, I was in my 20s. I took earplugs a few times, got laughed at, but, I mean, that stuff is loud. But supposedly that's where Courtney met Kurt Cobain for the first time, and they fell in love, and then that led to their relationship and their marriage and having a kid. And they were together until he took his own life. Satyricon has gone out of business since then. The Bus Mall came in and got rid of all the street parking, and the light rail came in and went in front of the place. And things weren't the same, and the whole music scene changed. Grunge and punk just were not popular anymore, and this place was an S-hole, dark and dreary and smelled bad, and there was a lot of drug activity in that area in general, and there still is, and that spilled over to the club, and eventually they went out of business. And then the cruisers, once they started remodeling parts of downtown with this train line and everything, the light rail, the cruise spot moved back out to 82nd. Now, I don't know any high schoolers right now that partake in that. The only high schoolers I know there's like 3 or 4 of them around me, but they don't really talk to the adult neighbors. They talk to their parents while they're in the house. They don't even speak to their parents when they're outside. And you don't hear any stories or anything. I mean, before they were in high school, when they were in middle school and grade school, I'd be outside and they'd come by and they'd just yak, and they'd tell you all about their life and everything. But man, they hit high school and they no longer associate with older people unless they're forced to. And that's where we stand right now. I am now at the Hung Fat Market on, I think it's either 99th or 100th and Prescott. Yeah, this is Prescott. And I'm going to go in and buy my chicken feet and my cow feet. And if they have sesame seeds, I'm going to get those too, because I've been doing these rice tofu dishes, and every recipe calls for sesame seeds, and I never have them. And I went to Fred Meyer's to get some, which is a Kroger store. And for a tiny little bottle, they were almost $4. And if you wanted them toasted, they were $6.90 or $6.80 for a tiny little bottle. And it's like, I don't need sesame seeds that bad. Hopefully they'll have something in a bag here that's in bulk, which would break down to be a lot cheaper. I can't imagine that sesame seeds cost that much to actually grow and harvest. And I think by putting them in those little glass bottles and putting them in a spice section as opposed to a baking section, it's just a way to screw the public and make you pay more. Not cheap, but very frugal. Okay, that's all I got for you today. I hope you have a great weekend. I will see you tomorrow. And I'm thinking I might just go live tomorrow morning. What time? I don't know. 9 or 10. I won't know until I get up in the morning. Yeah, I went to the gym this morning. I don't think I'm going to go tomorrow morning, so I will be home. Like I said, 9 or 10. Again, I'm not sure. Don't hold me to it. But I might be talking to you live tomorrow. So if you want to watch this space, you would get notified and chime in, and you can comment and we can chat in real time. Okay, I gotta go. Have a great day, and remember to stay cranky.